Hello everyone, and welcome back to In My Opinion, where we discuss current events in layman's terms, because knowledge is power, and you will soon find out that I have an opinion about everything. So we're going to discuss 3 topics today. It's going to be a short video, pretty brief. We're going to get into some movie recommendations that I have for the people. We're going to get into the stimulus check updates in details as far as who qualifies for what. And then we're going to dive into the Asian American hate crimes that have taken place overwhelmingly since the beginning of COVID. So let's get right into it. First things first, please subscribe. I'll wait. It's that little red button in the bottom, you just click it. Once you follow that, you'll be able to follow me on the constant updates I'll be giving you guys on what's going on in the world today. So on Sunday, I was able to catch up on some of my favorite shows and also get into some new ones. And I stumbled across a gem. It was called Amend on Netflix, and it's hosted by Will Smith and a slew of other actors and actresses, and they're reenacting moments and times before slavery, during slavery, after slavery, and it's just a really good story about America. So it's about the fight for the 14th Amendment and the true story of America. The 14th Amendment is basically saying that anyone that is naturalized and born into the United States is a citizen. Therefore, they should receive all the rights of an American citizen. However, not all of us were considered citizens this entire time. It's not specifically for blacks, it's not specifically for whites, it's the story of America. And when I say I recommend this, again, it's so important to know our history and our past so we know the ways in which we need to move forward. And this documentary is so good. There's several parts to it. I haven't even finished it yet, and I give it a 10 across the board, okay? So another movie that I watched this weekend over again, because I've seen it at least 2 or 3 times, is called LA 92. It was originally on National Geographic, also offered on Netflix. And LA 92 is about the riots that happened as a result of the Rodney King beating by the police officers, and the even bigger riot that occurred when the police officers were acquitted of the crime they committed against Rodney King. And again, it's very reminiscent to the Black Lives Matter movement. It gives you a more of an insight into the black struggle between the police and African Americans, but it also gives you insight into the very quiet war between Asian Americans and Black Americans. This movie hits home because it was just in 1992 that Rodney King was brutally beaten by the LAPD and they were acquitted. It also sheds light on the Asian American and the Black American beef that's been going on for years. And it really breaks my heart because we all know someone that is Asian that we love, we care about, or that we interact with in some way. And the reality is we're all minorities. That leads me to my next topic, the rise in crime on Asian Americans since COVID. How and why are Asian Americans and Black Americans at war when we are both minorities that have been continuously discriminated against? We visit them at their stores every day. Their stores are in our neighborhoods. If anything, we should be allies, not enemies. And I feel that we've been given a negative perception of African Americans from white society because white society demonized us, and Asian Americans don't know the history of what African Americans have suffered for all of these years. So therefore they put us against each other, and they have Asian Americans in fear of us. And in reality, they don't need to be in fear of us. They don't need to watch us while we shop. We don't have to be at odds with each other. The reality is we have a common enemy in racism. Right now, there is so much violence being done to Asian Americans in this country because a certain someone that I really don't like talking about and I really don't want to be on my channel has called coronavirus the Kung Flu or the China virus. Silently, it's created this world where we hate Asian Americans and they're getting beat up and they're getting murdered. The older ones specifically, they're just like walking down the sidewalk and then they're getting brutally beat up. For what? Because the coronavirus originated in China from an animal, I believe they said. But that does not mean that the Asian Americans are deserving of getting beaten. We're gonna watch a clip from Nightline where they go more in depth about the abuse of Asian Americans.
The Thai immigrant's death, one of a slew of assaults against elderly Asian Americans in Northern California, drawing the spotlight after celebrities like Daniel Wu and Daniel Dae Kim brought star power and a $25,000 reward.
It was a very visceral response. I got very angry because I thought, this is now a year of these kinds of things going on.
Some in the community blame the tension between Black people and Asian Americans.
It is not just a Black and Asian issue. It is something in the psyche of this country where somehow it's okay to physically or verbally abuse Asian Americans. We're being scapegoated. This is not just one community. It is every community. We have the tech CEO in the Silicon Valley who verbally abused an Asian family in a restaurant.
Asian piece of
Oh my God.
And then we have Torrance Karen.
Go back to whatever Asian country you belong in. Thank you for coming through.
Community leader Dr. Connie Won says it's clear Asians are being scapegoated and blamed for the pandemic.
When the previous administration said things publicly like the Wuhan virus,
the China flu, the China virus, the plague from China, we have to be accurate.
Unapologetically, he helped to stoke the fires of anti-Asian violence against our communities.
In this moment, with calls for racial justice echoing, a broader conversation is taking shape.
Historically, there have been tensions between the African American and Asian American communities, but George Floyd galvanized the two communities in a way that I'd never seen before. I'd never seen more Asian Americans standing up in support of Black Lives Matter, myself included. And so I'm hoping that that momentum carries over into these cases, because it really ultimately is about a collective, unified response to injustice.
Historically, Black and Asian Americans have come into conflict in big cities, perhaps most dramatically during the unrest in Los Angeles following the Rodney King verdict.
A riot sparked by what was felt to be an unjust verdict for a Black man also became an economic war against Koreans.
In what ways have Blacks been pitted against Asians?
White America tends to privilege Asians and Asian Americans in ways that they do not our Black and Latinx community members.
You don't fight racism with racism. You fight racism with solidarity.
And quickly realized he has a lot to learn.
This is the Oakland anti-Asian racism and violence rally. We're joined by our Black brothers and sisters.
Now this is a call to action to everybody else who believes.
Those that are a part of the abuse of Asian Americans, and they are people of color, you are a coward, and you are no better than the ones that racially profile us. So because there was a negative influence of somebody that is not even mentally sane, we can't just take advice from him. He doesn't like Black people, he doesn't like Asians, he has a problem with any race that's not pure white like his own. So why on earth are you going to follow suit based off of his claims when they're baseless? So this is my call to action to my Black brothers and sisters. We need to stand in solidarity with the Asian American community. They came together with us for Black Lives Matter. We need to come together with them through this. So if you are in an area and you see an Asian American being abused, say something, be aware. We need to all band together and protect each other. We are the minority, but if we come together, we can be the majority. Play smart, not stupid. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So everybody, we have some huge stimulus check updates. We have the details of what is in the stimulus package, okay? So the House committee has submitted their budget for the CARES Act. By the end of this week, right on schedule, as they said, they should be ready to vote and approve the stimulus package. But what is in the stimulus package thus far? And now we finally have the details of the stimulus check. Who qualifies, how much are we getting, and who gets what? So the stimulus check proposal income limits are as follows. If you make $75,000 or less, you are eligible for a $1,400 stimulus check. That amount will phase out at $100,000. If you are the head of your household, it is $112,500 or less. You will also receive a $1,400 stimulus check. That will phase out for head of households at $150,000. If you are a married couple making over $150,000, you will receive a $2,800 stimulus check. And they will phase out at $200,000. Phase out meaning you might not get that full $1,400, but you'll receive something. Dependents are able to receive $1,400 checks as well, whether they're a child, whether they're a student, or whether it's an adult dependent. If you claimed in your 2019-2020 taxes that somebody was a dependent, then you're gonna get a check for them. And there's no cap for that. So if you claim 20 people, you're gonna get $1,400 checks by the bundles. If you do have any financial obligations owed, such as child support, this will not affect you receiving your stimulus check. You will still be able to receive it. As far as the child tax credit limit, that has been raised. Biden has proposed a new child tax credit, and it seems like it's actually going to pass. So the details are as follows. If you have a child between the age of 0 to 5, you'll receive $3,600 tax credit. If your child is from 6 years old to 18 years old, you will receive a $3,000 child tax credit. Of course, there is an income requirement. The head of household, it would still be $112,000. Or if you are married, it would cap at $150,000. So the payments would go out monthly from July 1st, 2021 until December 31st, 2021. And then in January, you'll get the remainder of the 6 months amount that you have owed to you in your taxes. So in the comments, let me know how you feel about receiving your check in increments. And then as a whole, I think it's great that they're gonna give people that option. I think that it will allow people to kind of save up over time, as opposed to getting a lump sum and maybe spending it unintentionally or by accident or going to Target. I don't know, whatever, people may do, and they look up and their checks are gone. This will give people an opportunity to get a steady monthly payment, as a lot of other countries do have monthly payments for parents, as they should here. And then you'll get the remainder in January. I think it's pretty fair. I think it's the best of both worlds. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time. And oh my God, the weather has me tripping. Please subscribe, like, comment, share. Send it to your grandmother so your grandmother can send it to her auntie, and send it to your boyfriend so your boyfriend can send it to his homeboys, and send it to your teacher so her teacher can send it to her teacher friends. Let's pay it forward. Let's send these videos out. Let's share this information so that we are all aware of what's to come, because it's only great things. I also want to say that I stand in solidarity with the Asian American community. And as a Black woman, I'm speaking and I'm saying we must end the violent acts on the Asian American community, and we need to band together as minorities at all times. They put us against each other on purpose, and we need to do the exact opposite and come together like I know we can. And remember, the world is small. Don't let little walls cage you in. Thank you so much again for watching. Remember to wear your mask. So until next time, my good people, bye.